60 Minutes with Angela starts right now.
On Saturday, the 18th of March 2023, a governorship election was held in Kano State. Kano is one of the 7 states that make up the northwest geopolitical zone of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. After that election, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, declared the candidate of the New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, Abba Kabir Yusuf, as the winner of that election. Following that declaration, now the candidate of the All Progressives Congress, which happens to be the ruling party here in Nigeria, congratulated the candidate of the NNPP. However, the party itself, the APC, proceeded to the Election Petitions Tribunal to protest that decision. The Election Petition Tribunal declared that Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf of the NNPP was not in any of the membership registers that they had examined and was therefore not a member of the NNPP. The tribunal also said that it had examined registers submitted by the NNPP to the tribunal and that his name not being in the register was a clear violation of a section of the Constitution, precisely Section 177, subsection C of the 1999 Constitution as amended. The Election Tribunal went on to affirm Nasiru Gawuna of the All Progressives Congress APC as duly elected governor of Kano State. In addition, the tribunal had deducted votes from the NNPP candidate. Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf of the NNPP had scored 1,019,602 votes, and Gawuna Nasiru of the APC had scored 890,705 votes. Now, in spite of the tribunal deducting 165,663 votes from Yusuf's tally on the grounds that ballot papers were not stamped, signed, or dated as required by law by the Independent National Electoral Commission. On the issue of Yusuf's membership of the NNPP, the Election Petition Tribunal had ruled that it was a pre-election matter and so out of its jurisdiction, but based on the deduction of votes, declared the APC as the duly elected governor of Kano State. Following that decision, the NNPP proceeded to the Court of Appeal, and on Friday, the 17th day of November 2023, the Appellate Court for Governorship Election Petitions, which is the Court of Appeal, affirmed the verdict of the Election Petition Tribunal that gave that election to the All Progressives Congress APC. And here's where it gets interesting. Following that judgment read out in open court, the subsequent certified true copy, what we call CTC of that judgment, when it was released about 4 days later, we found that the conclusion of the court in the CTC was different to the words uttered by their lordships in the Court of Appeal. And that's what we're examining today. Ladipo Johnson, the National Auditor of the New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, joins me on the program today. Well, as we enter into the last month of the year 2023, what is the situation in Kano State? Is the governor still of the NNPP, New Nigeria People's Party, or will the All Progressives Congress candidate become the governor in due course? Well, the National Auditor of the NNPP, Ladipo Johnson, joins me on the program today. So, Mr. Johnson, is the party upset about the possibility or the reality of losing Kano State, especially as it looked to everyone as if the NNPP owned Kano State, not least because the presidential candidate of the NNPP, Kwankwaso, was a former governor of Kano State. And, we all saw the figures from the presidential election, so no one was surprised when the NNPP was declared winner of the governorship election. So is the party worried or upset about the possibility or the reality of losing the Kano governorship seat?
Thank you. I would not say that we're worried. Would I use the word upset either? The reality, or what has dawned on us, is that there seem to be people in the background who are doing everything possible to make sure that they wrest the governorship of the state from us. The people of Kano State are very upset. They're very disappointed. And hence, unfortunately, we've had a few incidents of them going onto the streets.
Yeah.
The governor and senior members of the party keep telling them to remain calm, to let the rule of law prevail. But we have found that the decision, or both decisions, that is the tribunal of first instance and the Court of Appeal, have been decisions that have been challenged even by people who are not members of our party, by legal scholars, members of the profession, senior members of the profession, people like Chief Falana, SAN, many others. Even the former president, Obasanjo, had to come out to say that we have to rethink our democracy. If you have three men upturning the votes of over 1 million people, then we really have to look at our electoral law and look at what we're doing. Now, in 2019, something similar occurred. At that time, the governor, Abba Kabir Yusuf, was the candidate of the PDP. He won that election, only for us to be told that it was inconclusive. Yeah. That was when we got to know that word. And then, when the runoff took place, all sorts of magical things happened on that day in the confined area that it took place. And of course, the rest is history. Ganduje got his second term. What bothers us, I'm not worried, but what bothers me is that we've had senators of the APC saying openly that, let them go to the Supreme Court. We'll meet them there, we have them there. They're boasting about it.
Yes.
And then you begin to wonder what is going on. And that was made even worse by the certified true copy debacle that we had with the Court of Appeal.
Okay, so what is the thrust of the party's appeal to the Supreme Court? Normally the petition for the governorship election ends at the Court of Appeal. Normally.
Well,
now you've gone to the
Supreme Court. It ends at the election. But
you
if they
filed-
go to the tribunal, we
Yes.
go to and court of appeal, then the court of final court, rather,
Yes.
is the Supreme Court.
And you filed that appeal, I think, it's 22nd of November.
Yes,
What is the thrust of that appeal?
Well, you see, at the tribunal level, the tribunal dealt with the issue of membership and said that it didn't believe that Abba Kabir Yusuf was a member.
Was he?
Yeah, of course he was.
But
they,
court,
they said they didn't believe for
Yes.
whatever reason, you know.
The court said that the membership registers
Yes.
submitted to the tribunal,
Yes.
even by the party, didn't feature Abe Kabir Yusuf's
Now,
name at
you
all.
see, his name is on the register. It's 50-something thousand something. I think they had like 2-3 volumes. The one they took didn't have his name.
Right.
But the law says the party must submit its register maybe 30 days or so before primaries or what have you.
To the Electoral Commission.
To INEC.
Yes.
It didn't say that the candidate must be on the register.
Yes. But
Now, we've had plethora of decisions that say to you, that have said to us, that membership of a party, including this by the Supreme Court recently, in Obi and Tinubu, membership of a party lies with the party. It is an internal affair of the party.
Yeah.
It is only the party that can come and say, this is my son, this is my... Now, if you want to challenge it, are you inside that party? Are you a member of that party? And they have said it is a pre-election matter. Now, apart from the registers that were submitted, his membership card was submitted, his affidavit was submitted. INEC had a new system. We had to upload electronically all the candidates at all levels. If you do not upload the membership card of that person, the system will not take it.
Okay, so why then did the Court of Appeal agree with the election?
Now, what bothers us
yes,
is that the tribunal went on to deduct 165,000 votes or what have you.
Yes.
That was what it relied on. The tribunal itself said that it had no jurisdiction to look into membership. It spoke about it, then said it had no jurisdiction, that it was a pre-election matter.
Right.
Then went on to sack him based on the fact that it said that INEC hadn't stamped or signed those ballot papers.
Yeah.
And they were all NNPP votes, apparently. We felt that was strange.
Why?
Because the same Electoral Act says that where the polling unit officer or whoever is in charge of it is convinced that a ballot is from the pad of ballots that he or she has, he will go on to count the ballots. And if at the stage of the election, at the point of counting, none of the agents of the other parties said, oh, this is a strange one, who brought it from outside? Then why do we think something was wrong with it? Furthermore, as at the time you took it in at the tribunal, we had no opportunity to cross-examine over the admissibility or otherwise of those ballots.
Yes, but didn't you have party agents? I thought,
No,
at
our
the
party
polling
agents.
unit.
Yes, everyone had agents. That is exactly what we're saying.
At the polling unit,
Yes.
didn't your agents notice that these ballots were not signed or stamped?
If they came out of a booklet, and it was not at one place, it was in many polling units. If they came out of booklets, then why would agents feel funny about it? In the same vein, Chief Falana was saying the other day, he said that you cannot punish the voter for the negligence of INEC. It doesn't make sense. And that is why that clause is there. Why they did not avert their minds to that clause remains to be seen. That's aside, it is a matter we shouldn't be discussing it in detail.
Yes.
It is before the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
The funny thing now is that when we moved to the Court of Appeal now, strangely, didn't even go to that. They now went to the membership, which, strictly speaking, wasn't before them. Because I don't believe anyone appealed over the membership because it had been settled that they had no jurisdiction.
It was a pre-election matter.
Exactly. They now went to the membership, took that, and used that to decide.
Yes. But you can't blame them. The Constitution is very clear. Section 177, subsection C.
Please read that section.
A person shall be qualified for election to the office of
If he's
governor
a
of
member,
a state if A, he's a citizen by birth,
yes.
B, he has attained the age of 35 years,
yes.
and C, he is a member of a political party
exactly.
and is sponsored by that political
Fantastic.
party. So there are 2 points there.
Yeah.
He must be a member.
Yes.
And membership means that his name must be on the membership register.
Membership means, depending on the constitution of that party, all constitutions go through INEC before you're a registered party.
Yes.
Yes. There are some clubs or organizations. You pay your membership, you have your membership card or whatever. What if they don't update their register? Does that really mean he's not a member? And that is why the courts in the past have said that it is left to the party to tell you who is their member. This doesn't say the candidate must be on the register. It said it must be a member,
yes,
registered member.
But can't we say by, deduction now that the Independent Electoral Commission requires all parties to submit their register of members?
Really
yes.
is for the conduct of primary most times. Yes. We rule it off here, you can vote, etc. at the primaries. Besides, at the primaries, the Independent Electoral Commission was there. The man had to go through screening here in our secretariat here. INEC was at the primaries. He had his membership card. As I said, he is on the register. I don't know what happened at the trial where they looked or took the one that his name wasn't there or what have you.
Yeah.
I don't know. So if you have 4 things and the person is on 3, what is it? Especially in the context of the fact that we have God knows how many appellate court decisions, Supreme Court decisions that say that this is an internal affair of the party. It is a pre-election matter.
Well, we'll take a break now. Join us again after the break. Welcome back. You know that a lot of people are criticizing the NNPP for not having done its homework. And
yes,
the reason I tend to agree with them is that it would appear to me that, for want of a better word to use, the NNPP seemed to be an SPV, a special purpose vehicle, for the presidential ambition of Rabiu Kwankwaso. And it looked, the same problem the Labour Party was having. A lot of people joined the party for the purpose of election. So it's easy to believe that because, the party, funny enough, didn't even belong to Kwankwaso, like a lot of people thought that he owned the party. And so people tend to believe that, maybe Abba Kabir Yusuf just joined quickly the candidate because he's a son-in-law of Rabiu Kwankwaso.
No, I don't think so. I think the first thing is that nobody owns any party. Nobody does. When you form a party, you have a list of members. It's like having an NGO. No one person can own it. Yeah. Different people do. That's 1. 2, yes, it was within a short time. Definitely. And it's not because he was a son-in-law. If not, what happened during PDP? It was also because he was a son-in-law. I don't think so. And for those who are saying, they didn't do their work well or whatever, these are people who are the ones that are trying to pinch the mandate. So they look for reasons and excuses. The bottom line is that you went to an election. The man was qualified, right? Let us wait for the Supreme Court. The man was qualified. He won by over 1 million votes. No other candidate in the country got that amount of votes. He won that with over 1 million votes. And the people of the state say this is the person they voted for.
Yes.
Now,
on what grounds then are you going to the Supreme Court? Is it on the grounds of membership of the party? Is it on the grounds of deduction of the number of votes?
We're hoping. I haven't read the notice of appeal by our legal representatives. But yeah, Awolomo and Chief Olani Pekun for the governor. But I would expect that everything will be before the Court of Appeal, including the certified true copy by the Court of Appeal. Both, because I believe they've issued another one.
Yes.
So I think everything will be taken before the Court of Appeal.
Okay, so let's go now to this certified true copy. You know, it would appear that the argument of the NNPP is that at the Court of Appeal, the judgment read was different in material particular to what was stated in the certified true copy. So take us through that. You know, I've got some quotes here. The first one was, I will conclude by stating that the live issues in this appeal are hereby resolved in favor of the first respondent, which is APC, and against the appellant, that's NNPP. This is the second quote now. In the circumstances, I resolve that all the issues in favor of the appellant, that's NNPP, and against the first respondent, that's APC, I find no merit in this appeal, which is liable to be and is hereby dismissed.
Yes.
And then the final quote, the judgment of the tribunal in petition number dash between APC, INEC, and two others delivered on the 20th of September 2023 is hereby set aside. So it would appear that contradictions galore. But is it a new thing that errors are made at this stage?
It is highly embarrassing. It's scandalous, to quote someone. Now,
why do you think it is scandalous? Do you think that they had one judgment written already in favor of your guy?
Give me any other plausible reason in this computer age.
Yes.
Why about 2-3 paragraphs, especially the last paragraph concluding the judgment, would have that Abba Kabir Yusuf won?
And then it shows something else. Okay, so let's look at it this way, because we both know what happened in the courts. You know, there's always the majority judgment, and then there's a dissenting judgment.
Yes.
You don't think it is feasible that the error occurred because the dissenting judge, maybe his decision was mixed up?
No, this was the lead judgment. If you look at the two other judges, they're like, I have read the judgment, my learned brother, blah, 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 blah.
I agree.
I agree with it, blah, blah, blah. Make the same order as to cost. Now, that of, I've forgotten his name now, the Yoruba judge, he's went on in detail to say the reasons why he felt Abba Kabir Yusuf had lost.
That's the dissenting one.
No, not, well, it would be the dissenting if we take the, you understand?
Yes.
But basically, I'm not really looking at dissenting or otherwise. I just believe that God had a hand in it, and we would never have guessed what was happening if that error of leaving those paragraphs at the end of the judgment in the CTC did not occur.
Okay, so on Friday, November 17th, when the NNPP left, you had lost that seat.
On Friday?
Yes.
Okay, let me play the devil's advocate.
Yes.
On Friday, when the NNPP left, APC left, everyone left the court. They had heard, but they had not seen that
Court.
the appeal failed. But they hadn't seen what was being read or whether there were papers exchanged.
You're running ahead of me.
You understand?
When you say they had heard,
Yes.
they had heard in open court.
Yes, oral.
The judges uttering the words
Yes.
that the NNPP has lost
Yes.
and the APC has won.
Yes.
So you all left court on that 17th of November knowing that you had lost.
Yes.
Then came the demand for the certified true copy
Naturally.
of the judgment. Is it unusual that it takes 4 days?
In this sort of circumstances, yes.
Why?
Because you only have 14 days. It's an electoral tribunal thing, very strict. And if out of your 14 days you don't get it till the 5th day,
Yes.
and that's because you started to shout in the press, then you begin
lost
to wonder.
5 days
Yes.
already.
And then you now see what was there. Yes. Then you now begin to say to yourselves, what is happening?
Yeah. So what was written in the certified true copy
Certified true.
was totally different to what was heard in court.
Yes, it was different.
I just want to get the context right. So you finally got certified true copies.
And on page 67,
67, you now saw a conclusion that was different to what you had heard in court. What is the thinking of the NNPP about this?
well, not just the NNPP, but our council. It's the thinking of any reasonable man. If you're filing an appeal, what do you present to the Court of Appeal? Is it the oral recording of the judge, or is it a certified true copy of the judgment? It's the certified true copy of the judgment.
And that certified true copy says that the NNPP won the case.
The lead judgments said that. I didn't bother to look at the consenting judgments.
Yes.
Because I knew we were appealing anyway. And I felt that, yes, our lawyers would apply to the Supreme Court to take everything together, look at the entire thing. What got to me was the politics of it.
Yes.
The optics of it doesn't look good, and it looks even worse to have the chief registrar of the Court of Appeal come out and say it's a mere clerical error. He should look in the dictionary to see the meaning of a clerical error. This is in no way a clerical error. We're not talking about some mistake.
A clerical error would be like a misspelling of a name or something like that.
Yes, because even Order 23 of the Court of Appeal
rules yes.
that gives them the power to amend anything that is an error.
Clerical error.
Yes, is like a codification of what we call the slip rule. And this is no way a slip rule. It's not Johnson, Johnston.
Yes.
Or he and she, or
yes.
what have you.
Or Evan and Evans.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's more fundamental.
Okay.
And the NNPP has confidence in the Supreme Court that all that has happened will be corrected. They would look at it from a holistic point of view and ensure that justice is done.
Beyond the words clerical error, did the registrar of the Court of Appeal give any other reasons?
He didn't say, one of the judges for some reason thought Abakabir Yusuf typed and
mixed up the names
or whatever. They didn't say that. You don't mix up in suit number so KN
yes.
on the 18th of September.
Is it the judges who type the judgments, or
well,
is it
I wouldn't
secretaries?
say that. I wouldn't be able to say yay or nay, but I know from the few judges I know, at least at the Federal High Court level, I know that most of them these days tend to type their things themselves.
On their laptops?
Yes, on their laptops.
So,
because,
I'm trying to play devil's advocate here.
Yes.
Could it be that secretary who has no legal backing or knowledge confused about what respondent is and what appellant is and who is who,
and that
made
secretary,
that mistake?
That secretary would be confused about the suit number of the tribunal in Kano, about the date it was held, and about the fact that it had been set aside. And if that secretary
yes.
were to have been confused, his lordship would be so confused that to append his signature at the end of it, and the registrar
yes.
would have been confused as to have stamped certified and appended his signature to the document. I think there's more to it. And until we stop sweeping things under the carpet and the NJC decide to investigate it thoroughly, then unfortunately the way the people of the country will look at the judiciary, especially what happened at the Court of Appeal, will not be so good. We have hope and belief that the Supreme Court will be able to clear everything.
I see no reason why, like many people think, that the ruling party, the APC, is trying to corner Kano State, the governorship seat, because they want the presidency anyway. The only state where the NNPP has governorship is Kano State. So why would you or the NNPP think that there's something funny about this? Why can't it be an error?
It cannot be an error because, as I said to you, in 2019, something happened. And the person at the center of all that happened is now national chairman of the APC. You understand?
So this is a fight for the soul of Kano State.
There is no fight for the soul. Even if they're there and they force themselves on the people, you understand?
Yes.
The majority of people saw the destructive 8 years under him. And within 100 plus days, they've seen the difference. That doesn't bother me at all. I'm not a citizen of Kano.
Yes.
Yes, it's my party that is there. But I'm telling you, you can't compare the Agbalumo to oranges. It's as simple as that. Governance is totally different under the NNPP than it was for 8 years under the APC in Kano State. But the bottom line is we do not see, because of the nature of that person, because of what had been done in the past, because of what they have said.
But you've expressed confidence. You say you are confident that the Supreme Court will settle
this. You are asking me in retrospect.
Right.
You say, why do we think they will?
Yes.
You understand? Because of all those things, then we felt that, or we feel that there was something that happened, something untoward. We are hoping and praying, and we still have confidence in the Supreme Court of Nigeria. We pray that they will come up with a decision that all Nigerians will look at and say, yes, substantial justice has been done, in accordance with several decisions, even recent decisions of the Supreme Court.
So for the record, I want you on record now. Was Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf de facto and de jure member of the NNPP as of March 18, 2023, when he was the candidate of the party?
If he were not de facto de jure, he would not have been our candidate. We all crossed at the same time. He went, he registered at his ward. Kwankwaso registered, everyone, their ward. I registered in my constituency, my ward G1 in Sulere. You have to register at your ward before you can get your membership card. It's as simple as that. You pay your dues. You pay 3 months minimum before you can contest.
Okay, so now you've protested. I saw you speaking across all media. You protested to ECOWAS as the Economic Community of West African States, protested to Canada, European Union, EU, you've protested to the United States, you protested to the African Union for a case that your party has taken to the Supreme Court. What do you expect these people to do specifically, especially when we both know that they can't influence the decision of the Supreme Court?
We are not asking them to influence the decision of the Supreme Court. In fact, I specifically mentioned to them that we realize that this matter is before the court. So we're not asking you to get involved with the judiciary, no.
Yes.
What we said to them is that we hope they will use their influence, soft diplomacy, to approach the executive arm, specifically the President of Nigeria, and let him realize that a lot of people see or feel, rightly or wrongly, that the judiciary has been put under pressure, and that this does not speak well for a democracy. This does not speak well for a country that wants to take its rightful place in the Committee of Nations. We said that. We said that also as the leadership of a political party, that unfortunately Kano is one of the most volatile states in this country. We know the history of Kano. We have gone the extra mile to keep pleading with the voters. You see, people make a mistake. They say the supporters of NNPP. It's not the supporters of NNPP that voted for Abba Kabir Yusuf. We don't have 1-point-something million people on our register in Kano. It is the people of Kano, and majority of them will not belong to one party or the other. So it is the people of Kano. Now, if these people are listening to us at the moment, please just be peaceful. We've gone to court, the rule of law will prevail. If for some reason they decide not to listen to us any longer, please do not say that it is Rabi Musa Kwankwaso's supporters, or Kwankwaso supporters, or NNPP supporters, or Abba Kabir Yusuf's supporters. Don't say that.
That's a running riot.
No, don't say that. It will be the people of Kano. It is not a subtle threat. We are saying we do not want a situation. We've seen what is going on. We've seen and heard from the people. We've been speaking to them, saying no. Benefit of the doubt. Relax, wait. They feel they were cheated in 2019 and they're not willing to be cheated again in 2023. Do not hold us responsible if it is political actions or whatever. Yeah. If all hell breaks loose, everyone will take cover.
What if the Supreme Court agrees that the APC won that election?
They could well do so. I don't know tomorrow. I don't know what will happen. That is the end of the road for us. We say, okay, we keep working on our party for the next 4 years. What can we do? It's Nigeria. You understand?
Yeah. At the moment, has the APC tried, come and take the place of the governor?
No, they haven't done any such thing.
What about INEC? They haven't tried to get...
They don't.
They're waiting
INEC will usually wait for the appeal process to be over.
To get to a logical conclusion.
Yes. They don't decide before they take any action like withdrawing a certificate or giving a certificate.
Join us again after the break. Welcome back to my concluding moments now with Ladipo Johnson, the National Auditor of the New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP. Let's talk about the issue of nepotism. We've seen factions of the NNPP blaming Rabi Kwankwaso for this problem in the Court of Appeal. I mean, the Southwest NNPP chieftain, I think his name is Abbas Onilewura, and his
who is so-called,
and his group.
You see, they are not former faction of the NNPP. These people are people who have been expelled from the party. For now, they might be going around entertaining press conferences and what have you, claiming to be what they are not. And I think that is basically because the press have failed to ask them how they transited within the space of a week from being people complaining about being suspended and expelled to being national chairman and whatever by themselves.
Whatever position.
Yes. So I was forced to go through the dictionary at that time. And factional would be, if they're still within the party, as the left-wing faction of the NNPP. Yes. So if you're still there, you've been expelled. You did not challenge your expulsion. You did not even challenge your suspension in court and your expulsion. And then you say you are still a member. It doesn't work that way.
Have you heard, though, the rumor that this decision of the Court of Appeal was a trade-off? Rumor that the presidential candidate of the NNPP, Rabi Kwankwaso, in exchange for a ministerial slot from President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, conceded Kano State.
Where's the ministerial slot? He's sworn in all his ministers. If there was any such thing,
Yes.
it would have happened. And nobody, no politician, I tell you,
Yes.
will take ministerial. Now you can be fired any day
Over
governorship. It's not.
So that
nothing
story
there.
is neither
it's just
here nor
people saying all sorts of things. Rabbi Kwankwaso and President Tinubu have been friends. They were both at the National Assembly when Tinubu was senator and Kwankwaso was deputy speaker of the House of Reps. They were both there ages ago, and they've maintained their friendship through the years. Now, there's nothing wrong with the president saying, please, I want to see you. We're thinking of having a government of national unity. And whatever they discussed, if it didn't work out, it didn't work out. I know where the rumor started from. It started from one of the people we suspended. He was expelled, actually, because he went on a few days to the election. He was a state chairman to adopt a gubernatorial candidate of another party, openly campaign for the person, when we had our own candidate there. So, yes, he was expelled. He was called to the disciplinary committee. He refused to come several times, and he was expelled. He went to court, and the court threw him out. He said, you haven't gone to exhaust the internal mechanisms within your party. It's in the constitution of the NNPP. Then he now started to spread the rumor, to say that, if I was expelled for that, Kwankwaso has been talking to Tinubu. That's how it started.
Let's talk about the presidential election now and how the APC emerged winner there. Analysts have talked about how if Kwankwaso, Atiku, and Obi hadn't all gone their separate ways, if you calculate the tally of all their votes, they would have defeated the APC's candidate. Do you think it was egos clashing here?
No, it's not just a matter of egos clashing or matter of being together or what have you. Even if they had been together, the issues may have been different. The voting patterns may have been different.
Because Obi did come to Kwankwaso at some point.
Yes, both of them did not speak
directly.
But we had 3 men on both sides. And I was fortunate enough to have been one of the people from our side.
Yes.
Unfortunately, it didn't work out.
Why didn't it work out? Was Obi wanting to be the presidential candidate and Kwankwaso the running mate, or was it the other way around? Was that the bone of contention?
I think that was one of the issues at play, and also the issues as to what both people stood for or what they wanted. We've always been known to be a party for the masses. Senator Kwankwaso, I'll say he believes in education, as you well know, healthcare and what have you, but basically that the average Nigerian, no matter the circumstances of birth, should have access to whatever government can produce.
Yes.
He's not a socialist.
Yes.
That there must be an enabling environment for businesses to thrive. Peter Obi is a banker, is a capitalist. I know he probably believes in some welfareism as well.
Yes.
Well, they're coming from different angles. But as I said, they didn't sit down. We sat down. And I just think it was at the wrong place, wrong time. Maybe if it were tomorrow work, it would have worked or something. So that happened. Yes, whatever happened is history. They both came out of the PDP, and the PDP, I think, more than anyone else would have learned his lesson about the fact that you don't just let people leave. You don't let them go in that manner. They have to look at the reasons why that occurred in the first place.
Well, Atiku Abubakar, the former vice president and candidate of the PDP, has proposed a merger going forward now, and his reasoning makes sense. In 2015, 5 parties came together to form the APC, and only then was anyone able to dislodge a PDP that we thought was going to be in power for 60 years, as they liked to say at the time. And then come 2023, when the PDP needed all its forces together, it was depleted. So a depleted PDP was now trying to dislodge an APC that was fully loaded with people from other parties. Where does the NNPP stand in this matter of a merger? Would you, the NNPP and Rabbi Kwankwaso, consider a merger going forward as the only veritable means of dislodging the APC in 2027?
We would consider anything that would enable us to bring good governance to the people of the country. We realize that right now things are bad. The economy is not working, inflation is high, unemployment, especially youth unemployment, is very high, and government is getting bigger and not cutting its costs. So you begin to wonder why the people of Nigeria have to keep adjusting, tightening their belts, and government is not doing the same. Well, Ladipo Johnson thinks it's a joke, not the NNPP.
Yes.
I think it's a joke. I think that government should get serious if it's really talking about trying to help the people of Nigeria, help the average man on the streets. But back to your question,
yes,
I certainly believe that at any given stage, if we're approached, we will always put all the cards on the table, look at who is approaching us, which party is approaching us. We talk about it. We look at what they stand for, what they believe in, and we see whether we can dine together. You know, it's always going to be a give and take.
Yes.
So you do not necessarily lose all of what you stand for and believe in, and what your supporters really believe in. Yeah. That is the situation.
Would it be under the umbrella of the NNPP, or
no,
would you be willing to go under another umbrella?
It would depend. You see, the umbrella, whatever the umbrella is,
yes.
And we shouldn't use the word umbrella because that is the logo of the PDP. Whatever the party is, yeah, whichever party it is, as long as you have a proper coming together and you have a common platform that you have agreed upon,
yes,
and that you can take to the people of the country. This is where we stand regarding security, education, this, healthcare, yes, Medicare, the economy. Then it wouldn't really matter what the name is, or who the senior brother is, or the wife, or the husband.
Yes.
The bottom line is to come together and bring about positive change. Yes. Because some parties spoke about change in the past. Positive change to the people of Nigeria.
So, before the election, there was a running battle between Rabiu Kwankwaso, well, not him personally, but what he stands for, and the founder of the NNPP. Has that been resolved? Because at one point, it seemed that Kwankwaso was being accused of anti-party activities by the founder of the party.
No, that wasn't before the elections. Again, it happened after the elections. And what actually happened was that Dr. Boniface Anebunam was one of the people, himself and Senator Kwankwaso, decided that we had to do some stock taken about the party and what had happened during the elections, etc.
Yes.
And I spoke about someone earlier. He was the first person. There are 3 of them that it affected. And Dr. Anebunam in fact, he was very instrumental in ensuring that the process started. And only for those boys to run back to him, to hide under him. And maybe somewhere along the line, they were able to convince him that, oh, Kwankwaso is here to take over your party, etc., etc.
Yes.
So that's where the misunderstanding came from. I don't think it came from either of them, but I think one listened more to some people that were suspended or what have you. And it degenerated, and we had to take firm decisions, even though it affected him.
Yes.
As one of the founders of the party, because we realized that we couldn't continue on a daily basis going up and down like a yo-yo. We really had to make sure that we had people of like minds who wanted to move the party forward. We have a lot of work to do.
Instead of doing all that work, why doesn't Kwankwaso form his own party? I mean, we've seen how the current president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, prepared for this role by forming his own party. Is nothing, I don't...
Tinubu never formed his own party.
He did, Action Congress.
No.
ACN.
They came from AD.
Yes.
Right? They felt they had to change name, right? Because there were disagreements with part of AD. Then they went to Action Congress. then ACN as they were taking people in.
Yes.
And then when everyone came in,
APC.
we were part of it then, APC, and that's what happened. You understand? So...
why did you all leave the APC?
Oh, because at that time we discovered that the PDP were even better. We discovered that the PDP were even better. We left the PDP because of what happened.
Yes.
And then discovered that under Buhari, it just didn't work. And I think we're justified by where we are at as a country now. And so we left them. We're where we are at now. And the advantage we have is that we have a large grouping, which is called the Kwankwaso movement. And
that's why I think that the Kwankwaso
the national movement
should have a party. You've told me before that the movements are present in all 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory. Definitely. It will be a natural process of evolution.
At the moment, we're in a party, and we just didn't come in alone. There's a group called the National Movement, the TNN.
Yes.
They also came in with us.
Right.
And I believe that when we finish with the Supreme Court and things settle down, we have the little problem of those that were expelled were in courts with them, in various courts.
Yes.
When things settle down, maybe within a year, we now begin to continue to build bridges. It's work in progress. We're not stopping. We're going to keep building, and working on ensuring that at the time that we will be called upon to serve the people of this country, that we will be able to give them what will take them to a higher standard of living, etc., etc.
Will Kwankwaso contest the election in 2027 again as the presidential candidate of the NNPP?
Well, I know that a lot of people would want him to. I haven't discussed it with him. He hasn't discussed it with me.
Yes.
But as I said, we're concentrating first on the court matter in Kano. After that, we'll now see how we settle the issue of the party.
Yes.
And then when we have that solid platform, we begin to talk to various groups, various people in the country about the fact that we believe, together with them, we can serve the people of the country better and begin to rebuild. Now, whether it will be Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso or someone else, we don't know yet. But we are all together as a family, and we're marching on.
Marching on. Yes. Thank you very much, Mr. Johnson, for spending 60 minutes with me today.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for watching. I'm Angela Ajetunmobi.